bestseller More, a memoir of open marriage. Her essays have appeared in Time, The Cut, Romper, and elsewhere, and she lives in Park Slope, Brooklyn with her husband. She'll be speaking with our featured author, Atash Yaghmaian. She is a writer and a psychotherapist whose stories and articles about mental health and Iran have appeared in Ms. Magazine, the New York Daily News, The Mighty, and Thrive Local, among others. Born in Tehran, Atash migrated to the United States alone at the age of 19, fleeing war, trauma, and abuse. Her new book, My Name Means Fire, is an unflinching and stunning debut memoir of an Iranian girl's coming of age, experiencing abuse, war, and superstition, and her survival through dissociative identity disorder, which offered her an inner world into which she could escape. Honest, powerful, and moving, the book boldly challenges the stigma and misinformation around dissociative identity disorder and ultimately reckons with what it takes to survive. So Atash and Molly have prepared some readings and some questions for you all, and then you'll have a chance to ask your questions at the end of the hour. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Molly and Atash.
We're live. Okay. Hello. Wow, what a crowd. This is so exciting. I am so honored to be here with Atash to talk about her extraordinary book, which you just heard a better introduction than I can give. But I think the best introduction was written by Atash herself in a letter to the reader, which opens the book. So if you wouldn't mind, Atash, reading from the beginning of that letter to the reader, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, well.
And do you feel, do you want the mic? Do you want to be up there? Okay, great. Thank you.
Well. Hello.
Okay, yours.
I really want to take this moment. I want to really feel all of you, because as you read my book and as I read my book, you realize my life has been about dissociation and not being in my body, and I so want to be in my body for this moment.
All your faces.
Thank you for being here. This is my first ever reading. If I knew one day I have to finish it, writing is easy because you can do it in the comfort of your apartment and in a coffee shop, but then you have to read it and you have to speak about it. If I knew that, then I would probably not finish it. But we're here, so we're gonna do it. I'm reading the letter.
You're reading the letter to the reader.
Oh. Okay. Letter to the reader. Can you all breathe with me on that? Okay. Dear reader, wherever I go, wherever I share pieces of my story and the brutal things that happened to me as a child, I always get asked the same question. But how did you survive? The truth is that for many decades, I didn't have an answer. That is, until I began writing this memoir. I used to think I survived because I was lucky. But how lucky was I exactly if all these bad things still happened? I knew I was odd because everybody told me so since I could remember. As a kid, they called me the girl who stares at walls. As a child, my home life was unpredictable, a confusing mix of love and terror. I was neglected and discarded by my caregivers and easily targeted by pedophiles. I was sexually abused for the first time at the age of 5. and this abuse continued from both strangers and relatives until I escaped Iran in my late teens. Outside my home, Iran was also on fire. During the 8-year war with Iraq that followed the revolution, I went to sleep many nights to the sound of bombs falling on Tehran. Daily sirens interrupted our meals and school lessons and our card games and ushered us into a basement where each family had built a bomb shelter. No electric lights for the fear of Iraqi planes might see our home. I didn't feel safe inside my home or outside of it, so I left reality. Just like that, I dissociated into a place I called the House of Stone. A building in a magical forest full of peaceful creatures and kind talking trees and even volcanoes that spit fire at anyone who wanted to hurt me. This place was my salvation. I didn't know that as this was going on, I was also losing touch with reality. I didn't want to live in a reality of abuse or violence and despair. My family's solution to my problem was to marry me off to anyone who would pay a good price. I understood that to be truly free, I had to leave my family, my house of stone, and Iran for good. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to have Atash reading again in a moment, but first, the first thing we wanted to share with all of you, we prepared a little bit this week for this event, and one of the things we talked a lot about was your experience of switching among your various parts, and your wanting people to know that at any moment you might be switching from one part to another. And that one part in particular who has not been out in public before now is your youngest part, Atashi, who you wrote this book. If you're wondering who Atashi is, here she is on the cover. And you wrote this book for Atashi, and Atashi has said she really wants to read. And this has been a source of some a little nerve-wracking for the other parts of you. Can you talk a little bit about your experience of switching? And we'll be ready. We're all friends here. We're all flexible here. We don't know who's going to show up and say what, and that is what makes it exciting and what makes us all stay present. So talk to us a little bit about that experience.
Before I start talking about my dissociative identity disorder, I worry about those people who are over there and might not be comfortable. Is there any way you guys can come closer?
We do have space right up here.
Yeah, so you don't have to.
You can stand or sit right up here if you prefer.
Yeah.
And you can hear all the way through the store. If you want to hang out at the bar, you can still hear to the speaker.
Great. We can have a whole row of people in front here too if you don't want to come all the way up.
Hello.
Lots of space over here if you want to sit.
Oh my God, okay. So back to my DID. Just in case if you didn't know, I wrote a book about my multiple parts, personalities. It used to be called, but it's called Dissociative Identity Disorder. There's 13 of us today, but 9 of us wrote this book together, so this is a collaboration.